Hey guys, Becky here with Design Bundles, and I'm super excited to have you join me today. I have not been this excited for a video in a really long time. You guys have been requesting it. I've been needing it. Guys, today we are going to walk through setting up our Epson EcoTank 15000 for sublimation. So here we are. This is our Epson EcoTank. It is the ET-15000. Now, this printer is very popular in the EcoTank series because it can also print wide format. MSRP, or I guess rather the going rate for this type of printer, is typically around $600. So if that does not fit your budget, that's okay. You can also get an EcoTank printer that will be a similar process for a standard size, usually up to legal size paper. And for a lot of people, that will be a perfect size. This is just a wide format, which is my preference. So that's where we're starting today. But I just wanted to let you guys know that the process will be very similar for all of the Epson EcoTank printers. Another thing to keep in mind before you break this bad boy open is that when you do insert third-party ink, like we're going to use for sublimation ink, then that does do weird things with your warranty. So I read a lot of conflicting information on how that plays out, but just know that that could be an issue. So if you happen to add sublimation ink to your Epson printer, or any third-party ink for that matter, then just be prepared to kind of fight that battle if you have to make a warranty claim, okay? All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is I will go ahead and open up the box. I have not opened it at all. This is exactly how it arrived. And then I'll go through the process of taking off all of the packaging tape and removing the packaging materials. Okay, so before you get too far in, remember that you want to keep as many of the packaging materials as you can. You definitely want to hang on to your box, you want to hang on to the styrofoam, and make sure that you don't misplace any of the materials that you've taken out of the box so far, because we're going to review those later. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and remove the plastic. The plastic bag and the tape are not items that I will save, but the rest of it, go ahead and package it back up, and we will make sure we keep that in case we need it going forward. Okay, so at the end of the blue tape, I'm just going to tell you, I removed a total of 25 pieces, including these two pieces that were holding the print head. Okay, so definitely make sure that you examine everything and make sure that you remove all of these pieces, because these are just meant to keep it nice and secure during the shipping or packaging process, and your machine will not function properly with all of these in, okay? Okay, so let's talk about everything that arrived in the box with your printer. So on the very, very bottom, I'm going to start my way up. This is a plastic bag and a little information sheet. Now, it does not have any words on it. I'm going to assume that this bag and the directions are in case you need to process a warranty or a return, because it shows putting the printer in the bag, back in the box. So I am going to put this back in the box. That way, if I ever need it, it will be nice and safe. Next, the other things that I pulled out from the top, I do have ink bottles. I have black, cyan, yellow, and magenta. These are the 4 color inks that your printer uses. Now, these are the Epson inks. We are not actually going to use these today, but I would still put them back in the box for safekeeping. Then, of course, you have a power cord, and then you have an instruction manual. Now this is going to have a CD also. Now my computer does not have a CD drive, and I know a lot of you guys don't either. So what that means is that we will be going to the Epson website, and they should have the drivers that we need available for direct download. So you can save this if you want to. I'm going to set it to the side. And then of course, this is going to be your Start Here guide. And this is going to walk you through everything you need to know about setting up your printer. But I also happen to know that once I plug this in, the printer is also going to walk me through step by step on what to do. So that's what I'm going to do with you today. And I'm going to bring you up closer so that you can see the process nice and clear and you can also see the prompts on the printer itself. All right guys, so the very first thing I'm going to do, this is your power cable, and I'm going to go ahead and insert this into the back. It appears to be a pretty standard power cable. And then of course I'm going to plug it in. Now I'm going to go ahead and let this kickstand down. It's important to go ahead and take note that there are two layers. You have your scanner, and then you have a second part that tucks right up underneath, and that is where your internal parts are for your ink. So this kickstand, if you push it forward, all right, it will hold that up for you. We're not going to do that right now, but we will do that again whenever it's time to add our ink. And of course, there are little handles on the side for better control. Let's go ahead and turn this guy on. All right, so our first option, and it does default to English, but that's going to be to select your language. And then country and region, I will choose USA. And daylight savings time will be winter or summer. I'm going to choose winter. Date format, I will do day, month, year. So today is, I'm going to choose a 12-hour day. So basically the Epson is going to go through a startup process, and it is going to be more or less a check of internal processes and gears and that sort of thing. It's going to make sure everything is working correctly. My other Epson, I have a 7710, basically goes through the same process every time I start it up. So just give it a few minutes and then we will see where we're at. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill our ink tanks. That is going to be step 2. And of course, like I said, we are not starting off with the Epson ink. We are going to start off with our Sublimation ink. Now guys, this ink, I actually do not know anything about it. This is just a popular ink that is used for these types of printers. But I know that they come in bottles that are the same, and they come in the same colors. And from what I read online, you do not necessarily need to set up color profiles, which is a really big seller for me because anything that makes it easier is something that I can get behind. So I'm going to open up these inks. I will also remove them from their plastic seals. And also there will be a seal on the inside of the bottle. You guys will see me remove that also. Now once these are open, and please make sure you're doing this in an ink safe area, okay? But you get to unscrew the cap, and this is the other seal that I'm talking about. You will have to take that off before you can put the ink inside the tanks. Okay, so all of my bottles are ready, and you guys saw that I actually cut my seal and tucked it in on the inside. Just know that if you take that kind of shortcut, you can actually have problems getting the ink out if that were to come loose. So just kind of telling you, you know, what to expect ahead of time if that becomes a problem. So we are going to lift up. Now this is the scanner and the lid, and let our kickstand lock into place. Then we are going to open our ink tank lid right here. So you have to open this before you can open this. And then you notice you have black, cyan, magenta, and yellow. It's so important, guys. You have to pay so much attention when you do this. Absolutely do not fill the wrong tank with the wrong color ink. That would be very, very disastrous. So we are going to start with the black. And I don't know if you can tell or not. Let me show you. So if you unscrew the lid, see how you have the bottle, the nozzle for the bottle? That fits right into the opening of the tank. So what you're going to do is you're going to fit this nozzle into where it goes here. Now, you do not squeeze your ink. You do not do anything other than hook it up and allow the ink to fill. And you will notice it's filling down here on the tank level indicator. It actually makes a little, like a gurgling sound, a guzzling sound. So once it's finished, I'm going to go ahead and get my lid ready, disconnect it from the tank, and put it straight back onto the bottle. And then I will close this cap and open the cyan. And guys, if you're looking at your ink bottles, you will see that you do usually have a little bit of ink left at the bottom. That's not something that I'm going to stress about because I'll just be honest with you, the third-party inks are usually pretty darn cheap anyway. So to go through the hassle of trying to get every drop out of the bottle is just not something that I'm going to spend time on. But, you know, I am going to keep these bottles and hoard them away just because I do keep all of my supplies. Because I'm a hoarder. That's kind of what I do. So, okay, so we have all the ink in here. I'm going to go ahead and close this. And then we are going to hold down the little help button here for 5 seconds. Okay, and it tells you when filling the ink, make sure not to squeeze the bottles, which we did not. And also make sure to match the color for the correct tank, which we did. Start initialization, confirm that the tank is filled with ink. And what it's going to go through, and it says it could take about 10 minutes, but it's going to go through and do all the initializing that it needs to do on the ink. It's going to charge the ink and probably flush the print head. And then we will do the process of connecting it to our computer and then also printing our first couple test prints. All right, guys, so the printer has completed its initialization process. So it says move on to print quality adjustments. It says align the printer to get the best print quality. Perform a print head nozzle check to check print quality. So I need to go ahead and load some paper. Now for these types of checks, I'm just going to use regular copy paper. You're going to hold down the blue because there's a stopper here. You're going to pinch that, open it up. You'll be able to slide your paper right in, hit print, and it tells you to go ahead and load your paper. And then this part here is if you want to slide it out for your paper tray. All right, guys, so it looks like I have a few missed spots in the red. The yellow looks good. I mean, overall, it looks really, really good. So I'm not disappointed in that at all. It does tell me to go ahead and choose. I'm going to hit the X because I do have a couple gaps. And it says print head requires maintenance and to perform a print head cleaning. So we will go ahead and run that. All right, guys, now it is absolutely perfect. I don't have any missed lines. So we will continue. Now this is going to be for your print head alignment. And what you want to do is you're going to go through and it gives you these options. And basically it's going to ask you which one is better. Okay, so here says number 1, so we're going to line this up and we're going to tell them which one is the best alignment in our visual inspection here. Now it is preset to number 3, and if I look at number 3, I think that is the best one. So I'll go to proceed to number 2, and number 3 is the best one for that one also. So it will continue to do this. You get this 4 times. And you're just going to repeat this for each one. All right, the print head alignment is complete. If you ever need to do this again, you can do it from the maintenance menu. That's also where you can do the print head cleanings from. So select paper size and type of paper source. So in the paper cassette and paper tray, we will leave this as letter size paper. Hit OK. And there's a fax setup. I'm going to set that up later because I am not actually going to fax from this printer. And I'm going to hit no. I don't want it to remind me. And guys, this is pretty much the finished project for setting up our printer itself. Let's head on over to the software and we will take a look at how to complete that. All right, guys, so I went to Epson.com and you're going to come over here to support and go to printers. Under printers, you can type in the model you're looking for. We are the ET-15000. And under this exact printer, you will come down here and you can find the driver and utility combo installer. Now this is normally what you would get from that CD disc. So if you do have a CD drive, you can use the disc. So what I'm doing, guys, I'm just following all the prompts that are included on the computer. It's going to walk me through, it's going to set up the driver for this printer, and then I will be able to set it up wirelessly. So this is searching for my printer. Now I have not done anything on the printer to set it up wirelessly, so let's see how that goes. Okay, select your connection. I do want it to do wireless, and we are going to use the Wi-Fi Auto Connect. Okay, so now it's going to walk me through on how to go through and set this up on my printer control panel. So on my printer control panel, up at the top, there's a network connection that looks like a little Wi-Fi signal. And we will do Wi-Fi and start setup, Wi-Fi setup wizard. And we're gonna let this walk us through connecting to our router. So I'll select my router and I have to enter my password. So you guys close your eyes, don't watch this part, and it's gonna start setup. All right, setup complete. All right, so we have completed those steps, so we will hit next. And this is going to connect from my computer through the router that we just hooked up to. Okay guys, so the auto setup for the wireless printer would not work. We are going to use the control panel. So what it's going to do is, instead of relying on the auto setup, it's going to go in and look for the printer, which I have already verified is connected to the Wi-Fi. Oh look, it found the printer, so we're good. So I just wanted to show you this process, so don't be discouraged if it doesn't work on the first time. It's just going to walk you through and do a few additional steps to make sure that everything sets up correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and print a test page. And I can already hear the printer making a whole lot of noise, so it must be working, which is, yay, exactly what we needed. Okay, so I'm not going to do any of the fax setup because, like I said, that's not what I'm using it for. But if you guys need that connectivity to be able to send faxes, then that's okay. You can walk right through it. As you've seen, everything is super, super easy. And I tell you what, I am not going to update the firmware. And I'll tell you why. Right now, it's working. And I have heard of other Epson users that when they run a firmware update, that then they start having problems. I guess not with the printer itself, but I guess in using the third-party refillable cartridges. And that's not really the case with ours, but until I do some more research, I'm not going to update the firmware at this point. And I would recommend the same to you guys. If you ever get prompted for a firmware update, because that's going to mess with the settings on your printer, just make sure that you do a little bit of research and that you're not setting yourself up for future problems. And we are done. So let's go ahead and head over to Silhouette Studio. We're going to do our first print. And what I'm going to do, so I already have my file set up, and I'm just going to come up here to the Send to Printer, and I will be able to locate, here is my new EcoTank 15000. I'm going to go ahead and go to Preferences. And for the paper source, I'm going to use the paper tray. And I'm printing on a 13 by 19, so I want to select my document size. I am printing portrait, and I'm going to fall back on the same settings that I used for my other Epson, which is Premium Presentation Paper Matte and Standard Quality. Now, let me take a minute to say, if you want to, I don't do this because I'm an old dog and I'm set in my ways, but you can actually go ahead and set this printer up to always mirror your images. Now, I mirror anyway. I mirror manually, so for me to set that up causes me more confusion because I have to remember not to mirror it. But if you're just starting out, this is actually very, very useful. Go over to More Options, and down here at the bottom, there's a little checkbox for Mirror Image, and you can hit OK, and it will automatically mirror everything. Now I'm going to hit Cancel. So let me show you guys what that looks like. I'm flipping it back to the correct way, to a non-mirrored way. And one thing that I always check in Silhouette Studio is my print borders. Let's see how my print border is really small. So let's go back and see what we did. I think I didn't hit apply. So hit apply, there we go. Now you see how it pops that gray box around the edge. So that's what we're gonna do. I just always check that if your software has some sort of feature like that, or if you can do a print preview, it'll save you a world full of trouble. So let's go ahead and print this. I just need 1 copy. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to your printer and show you where this is gonna go. Okay guys, so what I wanna tell you is we have, this down here where you saw me put the letter size paper, that is going to be your cassette, okay? And back here, what we commonly refer to as your rear paper feed is going to be your paper tray. So don't let that confuse you, but back here is where the 13 by 19 page is gonna go. So you pull straight up and out. Just remember that if you have to force it, you're not doing it right. And I'm loading this, so my sublimation paper has a watermark on the back. So I'm gonna load this right side up, and you have guides in there just like you do in the paper cassette. So move those all the way out, and your paper should slide right in. And then hit next. Alright guys, so I am telling you that this is the best sublimation print I have seen in a long time. Like, I'm not saying that my other printer didn't do good, but I can definitely tell a quality difference, whether that's because this is a nice shiny new printer or if it's just better quality. I guess only time will tell, but I'm very happy with that. And I'm not going to walk you through the pressing process, but I will show you my final pressed image as soon as I get my heat press turned on. Now also, let's take a minute to talk about one of the most popular troubleshooting suggestions that people will have in terms of Epson is to perform a print head cleaning and nozzle checks like we did in the beginning. So if you ever need to access any of that information, you can come over here to maintenance. All right, you have a touch screen panel. So you just go to maintenance over here and you will find your print head nozzle check, your print head cleaning, power cleaning, print head alignment. This is where you're going to fill your ink again, your ink level settings, and there's really just, I'm not going to read them all off to you, but there's a lot of really good information. So definitely if you start experiencing any problems, research that and see what you need to do. And then also, it doesn't hurt to go ahead and keep an eye on your ink, and I personally would probably try to keep it on the full side. And that's all I got, guys. So guys, how do you feel about the Epson EcoTank 15000? Now, I think the setup process is really super easy. There's no refillable cartridges to buy. There's no ink profiles to install. It's literally install the driver from the website and let the printer walk you through everything else. So I think in terms of converting a regular inkjet printer to use sublimation, this is a really good option. Now, I know that the price tag can be a little off-putting at $600 because a lot of times if we're looking to convert an Epson printer to sublimation, then it's because we want to go with something that's easy on our pocketbook, right? But guys, I mean, it really just doesn't get any easier, and this is your wide format option. Okay, this is the least expensive wide format that you're going to get in an EcoTank setup. So it's a really great option. It's a very popular printer. And I just, when I hear people with all the problems that they have with Epson, very rarely, if ever, have I heard them refer to the EcoTank 15000. They're always talking about the other models of Epson that have problems with the refillable cartridges or with the continuous ink system. So I know that I will be very happy with this Epson. I'm super excited. My print came out great. Look, this is my finished project. It's one of those, the folding fans, right? So this will be really nice this summer, and I was even able to sublimate the little pocket that it goes in. So just very happy. I'm happy with the ink, I'm happy with the printer, I'm happy all the way around, and guys, hopefully, you guys would be happy with it too. So if you have any questions or comments, please make sure you leave those below. I'm very happy to answer any questions that you have to the best of my ability, of course. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel because that's what helps support our little channel here and make sure that we can keep bringing you these crafty videos in the future. So guys, thanks again for stopping by. You know it means a lot to me every time you pay me a visit. And I'm going to wrap it up, but thanks again. We will see you next time.